Bem-vindos, bem-vindos a mais um Hospitality Talks. Meu convidado de hoje, ele foi o fundador do primeiro restaurante japonês na Inglaterra, em 1972. É uma lição de empreendedorismo, uma lição de excelência da cozinha japonesa. Se você quer aprender um pouquinho mais com essa cultura sensacional e com esse espírito de empreendedorismo, não assiste uma vez não, assiste 2 vezes esse episódio. Comigo, Hama-san. Welcome to Hospitality Talks.
Thank you, Eduardo-san. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Right, see you again, yeah.
So, well, before the show, you were, we are chatting regarding your time that you came from Japan.
Mm-hmm. Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
When was it?
Oh, back to 1971.
1971.
Yeah, more than 50 years ago.
So then you came through Germany, you say, correct?
No, I come from Japan and through Trans-Siberian Express. Took me about 2 weeks to come to Europe continent.
2 weeks from Japan to...
Yeah, to be precise, Yokohama to Naotoga 2 days in the ship. Naotoga to Khabarovsk 1 day by train.
Okay.
Khabarovsk to Moscow 1 week non-stop train. And Moscow 1 night, and from Moscow to Helsinki 1 day, 1 night. Helsinki to Stockholm by ship 1 day. So about 2 weeks anyway.
Well, your aim was to come to UK?
No, straight to Europe.
Or you came by chance?
Generally, I want to look around Europe. I was a university student.
Okay.
So I have nearly 3 months to just freely travel. No aim, nothing. Just I wanted to travel and
like
look around.
a year break.
That's right, yes.
A kind of break.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that time, going abroad is very, very expensive and unusual, but I want a challenge. I want to see the world. And these days, most people in Japan see America because America was just the ruled Japan for after the war for a little while. So everyone I see the foreigners, we say American. But to me, I'm not like that. I said, well, if everyone said America, I want to go to Europe.
To Europe.
So I just go to Europe.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But then did you stop in German first?
No, necessarily. I just go travel all around Europe. Most of the Western European bloc, that time still USSR, that country, and most of the Eastern European countries, communist country. So I can't freely travel that time. So one of the rail pass, called the student rail pass, permit me to travel from east side is maybe Austria, otherwise all German, France, Italy, and so on.
Okay. And then, of course, you came for like these 3 months traveling around Europe.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
When did you realize that, well, I'm going to stay in UK?
Yeah, well, that's a bit of a long story, but anyway, to cut it short, I traveled through almost Western European countries, and I met my friend who was traveling together at Trans-Siberian Express. Let's meet in London under the monument in 1 day in November, one Sunday. So we did. I met them.
So on the trip, on the train, you
that's right, yes.
No social media back then. So
that
was the way, isn't it?
That's only things that I may say. Noon at the monument in 1 week in November. That's all I promised. And I was first come to UK by what do you call it? These days, no Eurotunnel, obviously. So ship and then Victoria Station. And I just see the map and, this is the monument. And the monument station, got off, walked down. And around the corner, I see, around the corner, I just stand there. And then I see him coming down from the corner. And I say, that's the same jacket he wears. And I recognize him. I was so pleased because I don't see many Japanese these days in Europe.
Wow, what an incredible history. So you agree for a day and time
That's right.
in a place to be.
That's right, yes.
And then what happened there?
I stayed in his home, flat for 1 week or so, and where I met many other Japanese people who who just quit the job and traveling around, or the young one like him that he was also a student and he wanted to learn English. And then we are obviously chatting every night and saying, what do you want to do in the future? They're saying, oh, really, I want to learn English and I want to do some business. Or some said, I want to do some conversation school, whatever. Everyone has got different dreams, obviously. And by saying so, they're saying, oh, we have to first start learning proper English. Obviously, I'm not speaking good English. Still, I'm not after 50 years. I think the 5 years kids speak much better English anyway. But after making conversation with them and saying, we have to just learn, and to earn a living, we have to do something, maybe dishwashing. So, cut long story short, I was saying that dishwashing, why you have to do that when you have higher education or some qualification? And they said, because we can't do anything. We don't have any knowledge, no connection, nothing, no money. I said, well, I think even you don't have money, I'm sure you can do something. And you can stand on the side of that you don't do dishwashing, but you can let someone to do the dishwashing. Yeah? They said, no, it's impossible. So I said, well, I think it's possible. So I determined I'll do it. 2 years later, I came over and started my restaurant. With very low budget.
With very low budget.
Yeah.
I think that's the mindset, correct, Hama-san?
I think in a way.
You had two ways of thinking. Okay, one way that's if I do the dishwash, which is nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it, yes.
Yeah. But the other way of thinking is, well, there is something here maybe to...
Sure.
And then what was the history of your first restaurant? How did that came up? How did you find a place? Of course, back then, was not many Japanese restaurants around, and was not many
only
Japanese
3 or 4
expats.
restaurants, and my restaurant is 4th or 5th, something like that. And when I negotiated the restaurant's premises, I had an intro from my friend and I met before that. 1971 I first traveled, then 73 I started. In between 1972, I just came once again, see what is the best location and so on. Even in Germany, I was concentrating, maybe I can do either German or England, by some reason anyway. And then I got an intro, somebody introduced me to a German solicitor in Hanover. And he was saying, that's a good idea. We have no restaurant here. I'm happy to invest your money in your restaurant. He said, that's a great offer. But anyway, I just keep it. But besides, I just gone to London as well. And by introduction, I met a restaurant owner, hotel, small hotel owner, Indian guy. And he had about 30, 40 rooms, small one, just renovated. And he's got quite good size, about 40-seater basement, which he used for the breakfast only. Lunchtime, dinner, nothing. So I said, look, if I do a restaurant here, I'm sure you can get many Japanese people come to stay.
To stay to
the hotel, because there's no other hotels have a restaurant. He said, that's good, yes. And he said, that's a good idea. So I said, so you let me to use that restaurant space for free of charge. He said, well.
So you try free of charge at the beginning?
He said, still gas and electricity, it will cost, I'll pay for it anyway. Then so very low rent I started.
Rent is more like helping the bills than the rent.
Well, I think I'm not the Donald Trump, but it's a deal anyway.
It is a deal. Yeah.
And this worked.
Because many people think, Hama-san, that well, to start a business or start a restaurant, you have to have like huge amount of money.
Everyone thinks,
but not always, correct?
It's a very small budget.
Yeah, if you find the right deal and a motivated seller or a motivated, as your case, you had someone at the hotel, they were using the space just for breakfast, so I think you combine a good idea together.
That's right, yes.
And you were able to start with a low budget, and which I think investing and doing things, it's also thinking outside the box sometimes.
Yeah, that's right, yes. Well, indeed. And I think always I want to think from a different angle. And the people may think that, this is the only way. I say, well, that may looks like that, but if you're coming and look from this way or that way, there may be a solution to make it. Yeah, for the argument's sake, my restaurant I started, I have very, very limited money. So what I have done is, decoration-wise, I had a Japanese shoji screen. I bought a small timber, and I used to do some carpentry work as a hobby. I can do easily lantern as well in Japanese style.
Okay.
And on the other wall, I was watching that wall. This is a big wall, but so bland. Now, what I should do something, and I just thought, what's a low cost thing? And I just bought polystyrus, about 1 inch thickness, big white polystyrus. Guess what I have done?
Like from the back?
No. I cut the polystyrus in Japanese island.
The polystyrus.
Hokkaido Island, Honshu, Shikoku, and the Kyushu Island. So I just glue them onto the wall.
Okay.
It's a quite big object anyway, because it's 4 by 8 big board. But I as I cut it, it looks reasonably fine. And this
low budget,
obviously Japan.
For side.
Yeah.
And you bring that connection with the expats coming to the restaurant.
Yeah, that's right, yes.
And how was this beginning, Hama-san? Like, so of course when you proposed to the owner of the hotel, you talked about like the Japanese community coming to the restaurant, and but then of course, how was to the UK market back then? Like, I don't think on the 1972 many people used to go outside to eat, correct?
That's right, yeah.
How was the beginning of restaurants in UK back then?
I think probably that time the eating out by family is not a common thing.
Was not a common thing?
No, I don't think it was. And so even the Japanese restaurant regarded as very expensive, and not many people tried before.
Okay.
So we tried to make it quite reasonable, and we instead having sashimi like you do this that you can see. But my chef was very young, French trained Japanese chef, only 19 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said, "Well, I can't do a sushi." Obviously, no problem. The sushi quality these days, fish, freshness of the fish, we can't really see the top end. These days you can get good quality, but these days you can't just see the very, very fresh fishes. So we don't do that at all. Don't touch it. And they just tend to be more expensive. So we just rather doing like a donburi, which is a rice bowl with beef or whatever, the cutlet or something. And it can be quite a reasonable price we can provide. So we concentrate that way and make the price
more affordable for the families. And
yes, right, yes.
Yeah.
But yet, not everyone is dining out these days. I believe these dining out in the late 70s, McDonald's first came in this country.
Okay,
and people, it's easily affordable these days. And these are spreading slowly, but all over the country. And the people realize that things like McDonald's, we can dine out.
Okay,
And
that's
the dining
interesting.
out habit is spread. Even the pubs these days, you can't order any food.
Wow.
Yeah, Japanese people often eat and drink. So we want something to eat. They say, oh, crisps or peanuts, that's all.
Back then on the pubs.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
almost all the pubs. But now these days you can see almost all the pubs are gastropub. Otherwise they can't survive.
The cancer.
Yeah, so I think the people's habits changed considerably. These days in London High Street, you don't see many restaurants, not many cafes either. Now you can see Starbucks and Cafe Nero and everything.
I think people likes to be outside. They
That's
like
right.
the experience. They
That's
like
right.
to be socializing together. And how was like the first approach of the English, to the Japanese cuisine? When did you start to realize they are liking our food, they are liking our concepts?
Yeah, I think it took quite some time.
Okay.
Yeah, I experienced that when I started my restaurant in 1973, every 5 years, that restaurant numbers double-fold. So 5 becomes 10, 10 becomes 20, 20 becomes 80, and so
Every
on.
5 years.
Every 5 years almost.
Every 5 years
Yeah.
was doubling up the Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay.
1990, when Japanese economy was bubbling and bursted, then the Japanese restaurant number stopped there because of the Japanese businessman no longer spend like before in the expensive restaurant. So that's standstill. But that time, yes, okay, you may say in London about 100 Japanese restaurants there.
In 1990,
1990.
around 100.
Yeah, around
Okay.
100. Still, it's not very popular to everybody. And not everybody knows sushi yet. But when these Japanese-owned, more expensive type of restaurants stopped the growing, after that, Wagamama, Yo, Itsu, Wasabi, these restaurants started, owned by non-Japanese. Their concept is not necessarily really sticking to the very traditional Japanese way, but they just modify slightly and provide some more popular, affordable and popular, and also more suitable taste to the general public. And they are growing so quickly.
They are.
Now these days that everyone knows sushi.
Yeah.
And ramen and curry and so on.
I think we as the Westerns, we believe that Japanese cuisine is a very healthy cuisine, and I think maybe the consumer is more conscious on nowadays,
right, yes.
and we want to eat healthier. Maybe that was the reason that we had this big boom.
Indeed, yes, that's matching to the trend, I believe. But nevertheless, not all the Japanese food is very healthy. Some are really heavy, some are too oily. Not oily, not always, but too many additives and so on. Some instant ramen and things like that. But nevertheless, general concept that people think that Japanese food is healthy. So that's matching the trend as well. And the more people have some vegan, vegetarian, and so on, the more diversity. And Japanese food can provide something for matching the need.
That's very interesting. I mean, the Japanese cuisine is a cuisine that you need a skilled chef to do, isn't it? You need someone that knows what they are doing.
Yeah.
Of course, it's easier to see that you overcome challenges quite easy. But back then it was very difficult to find the right chefs for hospitality.
Yes,
I think even today is, but I imagine back then that the expat community was so small.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, these days that finding a good chef is always difficult and still is difficult. But because of a number of the restaurants now all over the UK, So someone worked for a restaurant, open up a new restaurant or moving over to the other restaurant and so on. So I think not necessarily all the chef has to be Japanese,
Okay.
but some other nationality chefs. Everyone, once they have a talent, they can cook
They can cook.
good
Yeah.
quality.
If you have to say, Hama-san, for a chef that's not Japanese, right? But he wants to cook a good Japanese food.
Yeah.
What would be your advice for a chef that's
Well, there is a Japanese cooking school now started in White City. Also, there is plenty of chance that you can work in a few restaurants. And we, as I'm a chairman of Japanese Culinary Academy EU, and we often have once in a year, the food challenge, and they compete what they can cook, and the winner can go to Japan as well.
okay?
So these are the opportunity as well.
That's
And first, like 50 years ago, I thought Japanese cuisine is not very easy for the non-Japanese to do it. But I see so many different chefs, Chinese, European, or any other nations. Once they want to learn, they'll learn. And what I'm always saying is that in the old days, when the teaching method is not established, often very old-fashioned chef said, okay, you can work for me. You wash the rice for 3 years, or you just peel the daikon radish for 2 years, whatever. And they can let the chef to teach all the cuisine detail. They said, you have to watch and steal my skill. It is not fair, is it?
No,
Anyone can learn. In a proper cooking school, 1 year, anyone can do a quite good standard Japanese food anyway. So once
through
you
what?
learn,
Through repetition?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because
Sure.
repetition
Oh, yeah, of
makes a good knife skills and make.
Oh yeah,
you know?
you do, yes. Well, also the fact is, also on the other hand, which restaurant you worked for matters. This I'm not totally agree, but nevertheless, often people go for the names.
Yeah.
Someone used to work for the novo. Okay,
Yeah.
it must be good chef and so on. So it is different angle people see, but still, purely for the skill-wise, once you learn properly, in 1 year you can do quite a bit. Yes.
You can learn.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's very nice. And then of course you jump for your first restaurant to with a very low budget.
Oh yeah, obviously, yes.
Then you really start to see that was a business, no? Like there was a business there, and then you jump for your second restaurant.
Yeah, well, because I first thought that I want to stay here when I was very young and meeting my friends in London. Okay, restaurant may be the things I can start fairly easily as long as it's a casual one, not a proper high class. That's impossible these days, all in sudden. But casual style one, I thought there is a market for it. So I did. So restaurant is not my ultimate aim. That's why I said, okay, I just do something else, and have found the opportunity doing a car business. I move into the car business.
Oh, that's great. That's great. But you never you had different businesses, but always with the restaurant. Then you opened the second restaurant.
Oh, so
you
restaurant
opened in 2006.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
2006 was in Piccadilly.
Yeah, it was in Piccadilly.
At Seoul Restaurant, you had the culinary school there as well, correct?
Yeah, well, it started like a sushi, very short intro type of sushi school. Then we became starting up Sozai cooking school, which is still going on, but not in a big scale. But we can do a small number of people teaching how to make a nigiri or roll sushi or whatever. When you log into the Sozai cooking school, you can find few classes anyway. But we can also do catering from there.
You do catering as
Oh,
well?
yeah.
Okay. You do for what? For offices,
Offices,
parties?
yes, we do, yes.
Parties, and you work with the expat community, kind
Yeah,
of?
well, these
nowadays?
demand is not necessarily the Japanese expat community, but the non-Japanese people want to try something, how to cook, or maybe having the company event, so they want, as an event, they want to learn how to cook sushi and so on.
Yeah. It's very popular now. I think, as you say, like over the last years, we've seen so many chains with the concept, Japanese concept. And I think as the whole food industry, food and beverage industry, I want to bring the Wagyu and the Kobe beef with you, but I also understood, like, on the last years, like, for example, Japanese whiskey, it's becoming very trendy. Whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey is getting
Japanese whiskey, it's becoming very trendy. And gin, Japanese gin.
Well,
So how are you seeing all this change on the market with Japanese products over the last 10 years, let's say?
I think generally the Japanese food come first anyway. The sushi is getting popular and so on. So as people's interest into the Japanese culture, food, and then spreading gradually. And I know the team of people who is doing a lot of promotion and try to tell the people how wonderful the sake is. And shochu as well, and everything. There's the people in the whole area that they try to bring different culture of Japan, food, drink, and so on. And based on the quite wide range of the people who experience Japanese food past 10, 15 years, so interest now spreading into the different direction as well. So you can see now ramen shop is open, yakitori, and okonomiyaki, curry shop, and so on. So from now on, I think you can see more different variety of specialist restaurant.
What do you think? I mean, probably last like 2 years, I've seen like lots of the new concept of rice balls. Yeah,
onigiri. Yes.
Where do you see the Japanese cuisine going for the next 10 years here in Europe, let's say? Which concepts do you say? Ramen we had like 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
10 years and so on,
Where do you see the Japanese cuisine going?
I'm sure that this is just a beginning and it's getting more popular. Quite a few people say to me, well, we can't just believe how Japanese food is now known to the people and spread. But I say, look, this is just a beginning, and it will be much more in the coming 10 years. You can see the restaurant number. If it is 1,000 become 2,000, 3,000, I wouldn't surprise. And it's quite possible. It's growing that way. And also general trend is that people eating out more and more. 40, 50 years ago, if I want to, apart from that, I can dine in my restaurant and enjoy it. But if I go out in high street, the number of the restaurant compared to today is very small. And obviously, there is a top-class restaurant in 5-star hotels. But other than that, the affordable, the nice, smaller restaurant, non-existent these days. A few, but compared to today, it's no comparison.
Today you can get good food at a good price with a good experience.
Yes.
There is for every pocket.
When you go to Japan, you'll be surprised how competitive it is, and all the food is so cheap. And obviously it's an expensive one, but the general price compared to here is much, much cheaper over there because of the competition. Someone starts something and then someone else doing something better and a more competitive price.
More competitive.
Over competition in Japan, I believe. So I can say these people, they should come over here to do.
There are loads of markets here and lots of to grow.
I think so,
to grow and
grow.
You know, like I'm chef, and I love steak.
Yeah.
And of course, I think we need to talk about your beautiful Wagyu Kobe beef.
Yes, yes.
We know a chef that we know in common, Chef Saito.
Oh, yes.
And he runs a very exclusive steakhouse in London. In prices are crazy there.
Crazy, yes.
Crazy there. £600 for a meal there. And is that really true that in Japan the cows they have beer and massage?
Well, some, yes.
Some?
It's a top one, like a Kobe beef, yes. And
Yeah?
that
Okay,
was a
that's
story
interesting.
being told many years ago. And it's a truth anyway. But not all the beef is made that way. And indeed, that's one of the way. And people know that, yes, fed the beer and even massaged.
Okay.
But not everyone is like that, I believe.
No,
But still, it's the way to fed something quite good food for them, and brought up in a nice environment and everything. And often Japanese Wagyu has got the more fat, all spread like a marble. And it is quite tender, soft, nice. But nevertheless, some people may want some red meat. And it depends how you wanted
How
it.
you want.
If you can afford it, then you should try A5 rank Kobe beef, which is the one that you mentioned.
Yeah.
£600-700. And if you drink £1,000 per head,
Yeah.
not many people can afford it.
Can
But
afford it.
still, yes, it's experience.
Well, it is an experience. No, I
Yeah.
think it is an experience, and it's great. It's great to try. And but I think that the Japanese market consumes a lot of this beef, isn't it? The Kobe beef.
not-
Do they export a lot? Or?
Export, yes,
yeah.
gradually. The last 10 years, they tried very hard to export it. But still, the quantity is not as much as you imagine.
Yeah.
And the Japanese people in Japan, maybe average people cannot afford the Kobe beef. Really, it's very, very expensive even in Japan. So people may even eat the Australian beef or American beef.
I see.
And of course, they will eat the Japanese Wagyu. Wagyu is more expensive anyway.
Yeah, because the Japanese Wagyu, Japan started to export to Europe.
Yeah,
what,
they
10
do.
years ago? It was not that long ago.
Yes, started about 10 years ago, yes.
About 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, that's... And the market here is growing, you know.
I'm sure it's growing, but it's not like a mega hit and everyone jumped to it. I remember about 15 years ago, Selfridges start selling Japanese, not Japanese, just Wagyu. Wagyu hamburger for £100. I said, what? Wow.
Japanese Wagyu burger for £100.
Yeah, that time I think that the world Wagyu came already, but not necessarily breed in Japan. The Wagyu breed in Australia, New Zealand, or Wales, somewhere, and still they call it Wagyu. So the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture and some other trade body struggling try to introduce Wagyu, because the name Wagyu been there before Japanese Wagyu came. So now when you said Wagyu, you have to tell whether it's a proper Japanese Wagyu with some logo into it or else. But anyway, it's very hard to tell the difference between that European or American or somewhere else bred Wagyu or Japanese Wagyu.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
But I mean, from what I could see, like the marbling on the Japanese Wagyu is higher, or not necessarily?
What do you mean that higher than your portion?
Yeah, the grades.
Grades,
you
yes.
grade different there,
That's right,
isn't it?
yeah. Well, the top grade is A5, they call it. And
There
it's
in Japan.
about 50-60% of fat scattered
50,
all
60.
over and like a marble. And yes, very, very soft and tender, very nice. And you don't have to bite, you just softly break up on the tongue, yes.
That's
That's
very
so nice.
interesting.
But nevertheless, because of the fat contents, personally, I don't want to always eat that. Even I can afford it, I may go for the red meat and something else.
It is a rich taste.
Very, very rich. Yes.
Very
Yeah.
rich.
But some people really loves it. And yes, it's a personal choice. So you don't have to pay a fortune to get the Japanese wagyu all the time. But it is nice.
Yeah. Look, Hamas, I have to say that I love Japanese cuisine. I love Japanese meat. I think it's a great culture, great food.
Yeah.
And, out of this very enjoyable conversation that we had, your mindset was something that really take my attention for the audience as well. I think if we're going to the end of the show, and if you can leave a message for this new generation that maybe are thinking to open a restaurant, open a business, and start something, I'd like you to give a message.
Okay. Well, I think that generally what you may have a dream, but you have to have one step forward. Unless that you do something, just dreaming or the thinking, nothing happens, never, ever. But once you start doing that and you determine to do it, it's chance of opportunity comes. So you should have a courage to put the step forward.
Courage to put the step forward.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hama-san, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you
very
much.
much.
Thank you. Nice talk to you.
Was great.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.